Hello and welcome to CMPP 269. This video is for instructors who are going to be teaching in fall 2019. So this would include Sandra and Doug and Nick and Cody. So I just wanted to make a little video for you kind of to let you know what instructional resources we have and how CMPP 269 is structured and what sort of changes have been done to it. So you have access to what's called the course master. And so the course master is the basis from which your actual shell, your Brightspace shell, will be populated. So under the announcements area, you'll kind of find a log of all of the things that I did to the Brightspace shell over the summer here. So this is just a log that explains all the changes that I did. I'll just take a quick look through this and see if I can highlight any for you. So there's a new course outline, and in the new course outline, you will see there's no more professionalism and there's no attendance requirement anymore. So as you're going through the course material, I've updated the policy slides, and there's this kind of fun policy quiz that challenges students to deal with different situations, in particularly associated with academic dishonesty and plagiarism. So I've updated all of that. So there's no attendance requirement anymore, and there's no professionalism requirement. So that's good news. Those of you who've dealt with professionalism before knew that it was kind of a ton of work to keep track of, the Java hero type thing where they nominated each other. So all of that is gone. Price for the textbook's been adjusted. It's now available for $39 US. So we usually recommend the students do a textbook rental, or they can purchase it. Again, I prefer the online version of that. I think your students will too. And another big change that we did, so we talked to instructors, and one of the heavy burdens in this class are all these little mini assignments that need to be graded. So what I've done is I've taken this list of mini assignments, and this is a list that Kitty gave me, kind of either the ones that are kind of hard to mark or the ones that really are not really the most important in terms of learning. And we've made them discussion topics, and the students are expected to submit their source code and sample runs there, and they can view each other's. So the reality is probably students will view this more as an optional activity, which is fine. I would kind of suggest that you probably still want to go over those with the students. So maybe after you've gone through the module, the students have had some time to work on those. I would just suggest maybe looking at some of the solutions that students have provided and talk about them in class. So here's kind of what I've done for all of those. I built a discussion topic. I've updated the checklist so that it points to the discussion topic. I've removed the actual assignment from Brightspace, and I've removed the graded component for you. So another thing that I've done in the checklist, just to make them easier, is in the actual title of the checklist, in each of the items, I've actually included the name of the mini assignment. I've removed attendance registers that were related to professionalism. Those are gone. There still is an attendance register. You're still expected to take attendance because students can become lawyers. And so that we sometimes have to deal with that. But the attendance scheme basically is absence, present, late, or an authorized absence if they let you know ahead of time. Terminology change, instead of calling them in-class assignments, we now call them labs. I removed the old 2017 instructor videos. I've added my new fall 2018 instructor and videos for each of the modules. So I recommend you just leave those there. Like some instructors in the past have removed the instructor videos because they want to kind of force students to come to class. Well, you know what? You can't force students to come to class anymore anyhow. So just leave those videos there. They're very helpful for students that are unable to attend the class, or ESL students who need to review on the material more than once or have it taught a different way, right? Okay, what have I done in each of the modules? So when I actually teach the course, I kind of keep a list of errors and changes as I teach it. And then at the end of the year, I just do the updates. So here's all of the updates that I've done for each of the modules. You can review them there. And basically, I have updated them inside of D2L. So let me kind of show you a little bit of D2L. I guess that would be appropriate. And I'll show you some things here that you might want to look at. So so this area here, this is where you actually put in your own information. So if you go underneath manage files over here and you go to home page instructorinfo.html, you can fill in the information there so that your instructor information appears there. Now you can't do this on the master, you can only do that on your actual course shell. So let's look under the content area, start with the course information. So there's the welcome message, next module. This is where you could write your own biography and put it in there. And then here's the course outline. So this is the official document, that legal document we have with students. You will notice here that we have labs, we have those practice quizzes, there's 10 of them. We have the assignments that are equally weighted. We have the quizzes, which are worth more now. And then we have lecture, midterm, lab, midterm, lecture, final, lab, final. I know you're sad, there's no professionalism. But you know what? Grief is a process. You'll have to work through that. The course map is very helpful. This kind of explains kind of what needs to be done when. So it's kind of a course schedule. So I print this and give this to the students. And you can see the dates have been adjusted for fall 2019 already. You notice it's a little more generic. I used to have information about myself on here. Now that information is removed. So you should just be able to use this as is. Remember, no late assignments, okay? It's unfair to give one student an extension without giving other students extensions. Software development does not tolerate late assignments. Don't tolerate them either. And students will learn this quick enough. Okay, let's take a look at what else we got here. I don't want to go through everything here. I'm just trying to think of some highlights. So the course introduction module here. This is where we have updated policies. So there's some slides for you to go through, updated policies. There's this kind of fun policy quiz that you can do with students. And then I don't have students actually introduce themselves in class. I find that eats a lot of time. But if you want to do that, that's kind of your decision. I do have a discussion forum where students will actually post their introductions and they'll add a profile picture of themselves to Brightspace. And then here's how they can get access to the textbook. So that was underneath course content, course information. And then module 1 is actually a module that they just do on their own. You do not have to teach this in class. There's basically a video of me going through the slides of chapter number 1. So they should go and do that on their own. You can assign this as homework. And then when they get it done, then there is a test. You schedule the test and have them do the test. So you'll see that there's some videos that they watch. There's some videos that they watch. There's some slides that they download. There's a practice test here to make sure that their lockdown browser works correctly, because you will be using the lockdown browser for the quizzes. So you might want to do that with them in class. And then they can do the practice quiz. So the idea behind the practice quiz is they only get to do it once. Don't give them more attempts. Otherwise, they start to farm the test bank, because the real quizzes use the same test bank as the practice quizzes. They're allowed to do it once. The idea is, you know what, we can't control this anyhow. So I decided, let's make this open book, and it's multiple choice. Everyone gets a different set of questions, but this will encourage students to, you know, kind of research and find the answers. So that's true for all of the practice quizzes. So module 2 is kind of the first, what I would say, typical module. And at the start of every module, there's a little introduction about what we're going to cover. And then there are the instructional videos from me teaching it last year. So you can point students to that if they miss a class. You can watch those yourself too. If you want to see how I teach something, or you're not sure about how to load BlueJ on your machine, look at the videos for module 2. That's basically where I load BlueJ. And here are the learning activities. So I use these things called checklists a lot in my courses. And they're super helpful because basically they help students kind of realize what I need to do for this module. Here are the activities. As they do them, they actually check them off. They're shown as checked off here, but the students check them off and it helps them keep track. So you notice that as we're going through the activity list, sometimes it'll link to an in-class programming assignment. Let me just flip over to the student perspective for you. So hang on. Okay, I flipped now over to the student perspective so that this is what it looks like for the students. So you can see as they do their learning activities, they can basically check them off and it keeps track of how far they are in terms of completing the course. You can also look to see how students are doing in terms of completing the learning activities as well. It's underneath, I believe, course tools, user progress. It doesn't show because I'm in student view here. Okay, so as you'll see embedded inside the course, there are some of these quote in-class tests, and then there's these programming assignments. Oh, I didn't like the word in-class programming assignment. I want to change that to lab. So then I probably got to go back in the shell and fix those up. But anyhow, when you click on the link here, it'll actually take you to a description of that lab. Now, for most of the labs, there's actually a video. In this case, it just has a PDF, but for most of them, particularly when you're in module number 3 to 10, it will actually have a short video that kind of gives tips and tricks on how to approach the lab. Now, you notice some of the what used to be mini assignments are now actually items in the discussion forum. So when they click on the link in the learning activity, it'll actually take them to the discussion forum. So that's underneath communication, discussions, and there's a discussion forum here. So there is basically a topic for every one of those mini assignments that they're expected to post to D2L. So if you follow the link, it'll take you there. And then here's an example. This video explains kind of what's expected. And then basically what they do is they post a solution here. All right. Okay, other things kind of to note. So we're in module 2 there. Other things to note, if there's a major programming assignment, there'll be a subtopic related to it. The tests will show you where the tests are. For the tests, I just show the practice quiz. When you want to actually do the real test, you look underneath assessments tests, and that's where the real tests are. So these little lab things underneath tests, these are little like in-class tests that you do. Students can do them over and over again until they get 100%. And then there's the practice quizzes, you see them. And then of course the real quizzes, which you'll do in class using the lockdown browser. Okay, let me switch back to instructor role here for a moment. And I just wanted to show you something else that you can be looking at as you're getting ready. So under the announcements area, you will find a little thing which I call Fall 2019 Instructor Delivery Notes. And these are just some things that I think about when I go to teach the course. And it also references our instructional resources that are available on the O drive. And so you should make sure you have access to that folder. So underneath the O drive here, I'll take you to it from the start. It's under staff. It's under information communication technologies. It's under instructors. It's under courses, and then under 269. So what we have here, we have our meeting minutes from the last time we met. And we have a folder which contains all the instructional resources. So the instructional resources include the source code. And then for each module, what you'll see, I'll give you a set of master slides, which you should print and have available, a set of slides which you use to present the material with a bunch of blanks that you fill in. And then we also have the student slides, which are already uploaded on D2L. My videos, which I used to teach the class last fall, I've also dumped them in here for you, so that if you're kind of wondering, well, geez, I don't really understand this, or I'm not sure how to teach that, well, hey, go take a look and you can see how I taught it in the past. We'll also have some student copy. I will also have a copy of the quiz. So I recommend the quizzes are on D2L. They are multiple choice using the lockdown browser, but everybody now and then has some technology problems and a student complains, oh, I can't write the quiz. My laptop's not working, blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, have some paper copies, give them a paper copy of the quiz. They can write the paper copy of the quiz. Here's a solution to the quiz so you can mark it, and then you can manually put the grade in D2L. So that really helps out a lot. There are standards for, as you know, we've talked about this, that there are some things you're going to need to do. You're going to need to write your own assignments, and there's 4 of them. You're going to need to write your own lab midterm, which consists of 4 questions, and your own lab final. But we're not leaving you in the lurch here. We're going to provide, first of all, some standards that explain what standards you need to meet for each one of the assignments and for the lab midterm and the lab final. Also, if you go back here, we have archived assessments. So if you want to take a look at some of the previous assignments, so for example, last fall, here we have Porves. Here's his assignment 1. Here's my assignments from 2018. So you shouldn't use another person's assignment, but you can certainly take another person's assignment and do some fairly, like you have to do some structural changes to the assignment. Like if all you're doing is changing some numbers, that's probably not enough. I mean, you need to do some changes so that if someone had a copy of this assignment and the solution from another student, basically it's not going to work for them, right? So, but this will give you an example of the assignments, and you'll also see examples of the lab midterm from the various years, as well as the lab final from the various years. So that's probably one of the biggest things you need to do is this stuff right here, writing the assignments, writing the lab midterm, lab final. When you get them done, send them to me. I'll review them. I'll check them out, and ultimately, at the end of the year, you'll end up putting those back in your appropriate place in the archives. So, all right, I think that's probably enough to kind of get you going. If you have any questions, please drop me an email. I will be here over the summer, or you can give me a call. My contact info, let me just pop it up on the screen here. So dave.lescu@sate.ca. My phone number is 403-774-4668. All right, looking forward to working with you in the fall, and hope you have a good summer.